Assalamualaikum. Today we will present our solution based on the case study given. First of all, I want to introduce myself and my team members. I am Muhammad Zalani bin Safari and my team members are Muhammad Azri Sazwan bin Muhammad Zahari, Afzal Hafizudin bin Marzuki, Muhammad Syafiq Ikmal bin Mat Naziri, and Muhammad Afifi bin Hamzah. So now, let's move on to the first case study solution. Opening a branch or subsidiary in Malaysia are wonderful choices for Recton, which is a foreign company incorporated in America. Usually, the choice may be determined by the parent company's nature of business and the available financial resources. They also must know the differences between setting up a branch or subsidiary before making the decision. The distinctions between these two reside mostly in the liability of the foreign corporation. The branch is not a separate legal entity in the country, and therefore it can only operate via the extension of its headquarters abroad. Then branch is dependent on the parent company abroad and will perform the same business activities and report every activity to the parent company. Whereas subsidiary is a fully locally legal entity with legal rights and liabilities that can enter into any agreements and debts obligation. It is also independent from the parent company abroad and can frame their own rules and regulation. In this case, Nuco intended to have 2.4 million ringgit as paid-up capital. So it will be recognized as a small and medium enterprise only if it is a subsidiary company, as it cannot be controlled by another company. Therefore, it is recommended that Nuco act as a subsidiary company, as they can have separate accounts and frame rules according to country's legal policy.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azri Shazwan bin Muhammad Azari, and I will be answering question 1B. For taxation purpose, it is the commencement of the essential activities of a business that is relevant in determining when a business should commence. Although Nuco's estimated gross income of 1 million ringgit per year could probably be considered low, it is important to note that the determination of commencement date should not ascertain by the sales or turnover by the company, but rather by reference to its main activities. As Nuco is a manufacturing company, it is advisable for it to commence business when it embarks on production of manufactured goods. Determination for commencement date of a business is important because revenue expense that was incurred prior to commencement of business is not allowed as deduction. Only when business has commenced, the company may obtain a tax deduction for revenue expenses incurred. Therefore, it is more advantageous for Nuco to commence business earlier and choose the financial end date 31st December 2019. As it would help the business to start investing into capital expenditure sooner to allow the company to enjoy the available tax incentive during their 5 years of operation. For question C, the best decision for Nuco is to opt for reinvestment allowance provided under Schedule 7A of the Act in exchange from surrendering the investment tax allowance. The reinvestment allowance is available to resident company that has been in manufacturing operation for at least 36 months. It is compatible with Nuco's expansion plan after their first 5 years of operation, as reinvestment allowance also specifies its provision for expansion purpose. The reinvestment allowance is given for 15 years from the first year of claim, computed at 60% of qualifying capital allowance and utilized against 70% of the statutory income. Therefore, reinvestment allowance is the best option for Nuco to reduce its tax liability in the long term after claiming investment tax allowance.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afzal Hafizudin and I'm gonna present case 2 or question A and B. Question A: advise PAMCA on the disposal of machinery in terms of timing. PAMCA have two options, which is they can dispose the machinery at year assessment 2020 or year assessment 2021. The accountant view that some of machine will be sold at loss. The machine that will be sold at loss will generate balancing allowance because the net value of asset is more than the selling price. This type of machinery should be disposed at the year assessment 2020, which is at 31st March of 2020, in order to obtain balancing allowance to less income. The machine that will be sold at profit should be disposed at the year assessment 2021, which is at 31st March 2021, because to defer tax liability. Question 2. Advise the PAMCA on the disposal of stamping machine. The stamping machine is bought at 2019 and will reach 2 years old at year assessment 2021. The tax authority claim that they can claw back the balancing allowance that we receive if the machine is disposed within 2 years of bulk. PAMCA should dispose the machine at the year assessment 2021, which is at the 31st March of 2021, because they can enjoy capital allowance of the machine, and they will be not charged to balancing charge. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Shafiq Kamal bin Manaziri. So today I will present the question C, which is state whether Damco group of companies can make off-group relief to reduce tax liabilities in year assessment 2020 and 2021. So first, we need to know the condition that they to fulfill to make group relief to reduce tax liabilities in year assessment 2020 and 21. First, each company paid up capital is more than 2.5 million at the beginning of the year assessment. Second, they must be tax resident and be within the group for the past 12 months. So, PAMCA has sustained a current year loss of 600,000 in year assessment 2020 and is likely to incur significant loss in the next of financial year. So, PAMCA has not met the standard since the paid up capital is just 2.3 million at the start of year assessment 2020, which is less than the first requirement, which is the requirement need to pay up with 2.5 million. So last, PAMCA will be unable to surrender adjusted loss, and the Dalmore group of companies would be unable to invoke group relief to deceased tax liabilities in the year assessment 2020 and 2021. So that's all for this question. So for question D, advise Ruba on the best method of financing its purchase of new machineries. State your reason. So our answer is Ruba should use leasing method to finance the purchase of new machineries. It is because leasing method can utilize lease rental payment in reducing the adjusted business income. So second, capital allowance are not available since the company is not considered the owner of the assets. So ROBA is preferable to use lease rental rather than long-term loan financing because the full amount of lease rental is deducted as a revenue deduction in the year of incurrence. So that's all for question D. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Afif bin Hamzah and I will present about which company should be taken over by Damchi and method of acquisition that will be used. For us, we think that Damchi should take over TSG because they have a similar nature of business and TSG is a pioneer company. For the method of acquisition, we suggest that Damchi use acquisition by shares because it is suitable for Damchi and TSG because they have a similar nature of business. The buyer is exposed to liabilities and exposure in the target company. The buyer would need to carry out a due diligence exercise on the target company's business in a stock acquisition compared to an asset acquisition, as Damchi have a similar nature of business with TSG. So the method of acquisition by share is suitable for Damchi to take over TSG's neighborhood. Second, the nature of transfer is using shares. Shares, we can define it as a capital. So capital is tax deductible, and tax capital is capital is non-taxable. And lastly, the restriction of expense. In acquisition by shares, there is a restriction of expenses, which is interest expense is subject to interest restriction as the loan is used for investment to other companies that we want to acquire. So that's all from me. Thank you.